U.S. Citizenship Interview 2026. Selective Service on N-400. Many applicants miss this. Andrea and David are seated across from each other in a quiet USCIS interview room. The environment is calm and professional. Andrea reviews the application while David sits upright, attentive and focused.
David, we're going to talk now about Selective Service registration. My main question is simple. Have you ever registered for Selective Service?
Yes, officer. I did register for Selective Service. I registered when I was in my early 20s, not long after I arrived in the United States. At that time, I learned that men are required to register, so I made sure to complete it.
Just to confirm, you personally completed the registration, correct?
Yes, I completed it myself. I didn't have anyone else do it for me. I remember filling out the information online and submitting it directly.
And how old were you when you registered?
I believe I was 22 years old. I was already living here legally, and I had a social security number at that time.
Okay, so you were between 18 and 26 when you registered. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Good. Some applicants are registered automatically and some are not. Do you remember if it was automatic or if you had to take action?
I had to take action. I don't think it was automatic in my case. I remember reading about the requirement and realizing I needed to register, so I went to the Selective Service website and did it myself.
Thank you. And after you registered, did you receive any confirmation?
Yes, I received a confirmation letter in the mail a few weeks later. I also remember seeing a confirmation number online. I kept the letter with my other important documents.
Good. One last follow-up for this segment. Do you understand that Selective Service registration is a legal requirement for most men living in the United States?
Yes, officer. I understand that it's required by law, and that's why I made sure to register once I learned about it.
All right, that answers my question. We'll continue by talking about when and why registration is required. Let's continue. My next main question is, when did you first learn that you were required to register for Selective Service?
I first learned about it a few months after I moved to the United States. I was talking with a friend who was already familiar with the system here. He mentioned that men have to register between the ages of 18 and 26. That conversation made me look it up myself.
So before that conversation, you were not aware of the requirement. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. In my home country, we don't have the same system, so I wasn't familiar with it when I first arrived.
Understood. After you learned about it, did you take action right away?
Yes, I didn't want to delay. I checked the official website to make sure the information was correct, and then I registered soon after. I wanted to be sure I was following the law.
Approximately how long after learning about the requirement did you register?
I think it was within a few weeks. I don't remember the exact date, but it was not a long time. I knew it was important, so I didn't ignore it.
Good. Just to confirm, at the time you registered, you were still under the age of 26, yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. And did anyone ever tell you that registration was optional or unnecessary?
No, officer. Everything I read said it was required for men my age. I didn't see anything saying I could skip it.
All right, that's clear. One final follow-up. Do you understand now that not knowing about the requirement does not always excuse someone from it?
Yes, I understand that now. That's why I think it's important to learn the rules as soon as possible.
Very good. We'll move next to your understanding of who must register. Now I want to check your understanding of the rule itself. My main question is, who is required to register for Selective Service?
As I understand it, most men who live in the United States are required to register when they are between 18 and 26 years old. This includes U.S. citizens and many non-citizens who are living here legally.
Good. Does that include permanent residents?
Yes, permanent residents are required to register as well, as long as they are in that age range.
Correct. What about men who are undocumented or have another status?
From what I understand, many non-citizens, even if they are undocumented, are still required to register. The requirement is based more on age and gender than immigration status.
That's generally correct. Now, let me ask a follow-up. Are women required to register for Selective Service?
No, officer. Women are not required to register.
And just to confirm, is registration the same as joining the military? Yes or no?
No, registration does not mean joining the military. It only means your information is on record if the government ever needs it.
Good. Many applicants confuse those two things. Another follow-up. Are there any age limits for registration?
Yes, men are required to register between 18 and 26 years old. After turning 26, they can no longer register normally.
Correct. One last confirmation question. Do you believe that registering shows compliance with U.S. law?
Yes, I believe it does. It shows that a person is following the legal requirements of living in the United States.
Very good. We'll continue by focusing more closely on your own responsibility during that age period. For this last segment today, I want to focus on your personal understanding. My main question is, at the time you registered, did you understand that it was your responsibility to do so?
Yes, officer. Once I learned about the requirement, I understood that it was my responsibility. I didn't think someone else would do it for me, and I didn't think it was automatic.
Just to confirm, no government agency registered you without your knowledge. Is that correct?
That's correct. I registered myself.
And did you ever choose not to register or delay it on purpose?
No, I didn't delay it on purpose. If there was any delay, it was only because I didn't know about the requirement at first. Once I knew, I acted.
Understood. That distinction is important. Another follow-up. At any point, did you believe registration was unimportant?
No, I understood that it was a legal obligation. Even though it doesn't come up often in daily life, I knew it could affect things like citizenship later.
Good. One final confirmation question for today. Do you understand that Selective Service registration is reviewed as part of the naturalization process?
Yes, officer. I understand that USCIS looks at whether someone followed this requirement, especially for good moral character.
All right. Thank you, David. Your answers are clear. This completes part 1. In the next part, we will go deeper into timing, exceptions, and what happens if someone did not register. Vocabulary note: Selective Service, a government system that requires certain men to register in case the military needs people in the future. Register. To officially sign up by giving your information. Confirmation. Proof that something was completed successfully. Requirement. Something the law says you must do. Required. Something you must do by law. Optional. Something you can choose to do or not do. Excuse. A reason used to explain not following a rule. Official website. A government-approved online source. Permanent resident. A person who has a green card. Undocumented. Living in the U.S. without legal immigration status. Compliance. Following the rules or laws. Age range. The minimum and maximum ages allowed. Responsibility. Something you are personally required to do. Delay. To wait longer than necessary. Obligation. A duty required by law. Reviewed. Examined as part of an official process.